The twin-stick genre isn't one that offers a lot of enemy variety, doesn't usually delve into a story, or do much in the way of customization, and I think that played into my overall enjoyment of Tachyon Project on the Xbox One. Eclipse Games' newest indie features all of the above, and does so while still maintaining the fast-paced, shooty gameplay we've all come to enjoy. In an interesting turn of events, you control Ada, a software program with self-awareness and the ability to hack into the most secure servers on the planet. After your two creators are busted, you're thrown into the wild west of the internet, where you'll hack your way into the database of police departments and corrupt organizations in hopes of finding information on the whereabouts of your creator parents. It's nothing mind-blowing, but it's refreshing to see a story play out in a genre that usually doesn't give a shit. The story is played out through some nicely hand-drawn cutscenes, and although there's no voice acting, I don't think that's something that would have added to my overall enjoyment of the game. Having the text-based story play out on the bottom of the screen while being covered by stage-clearing achievement pop-ups is a nuisance though, as cutscenes play out by themselves. Hopefully we'll eventually see a way to progress the text with a button press instead, but in the meantime you can always watch them again from the main menu. Gameplay is pretty standard twin-stick shoot-'em-up fare as you make your way through waves of enemies with typical objectives, like surviving for a set amount of time, destroying a certain amount of a specific enemy type, or tackling one of the game's 4 bosses. There's no one-hit kills or common life bars in Tachyon Project, but rather time is your life. Taking damage reduces the time remaining to finish your objective, which plays into the hacking story and presents the game's only challenge. You gain additional time as you kill enemies, which is made even more enjoyable by the game's variety of unlockable weapons and perks to customize your playstyle. Most are unlocked as you play through the short 10-level campaign, like machine guns or rockets, but some of the best ones are locked behind high scores, like the ability to slow down time. It's still shooty bang bang no matter what loadout you go with, but combining power-ups that freeze enemies in place, boost your speed, or spawn decoys gives you a bit more control over how you'd like to dismantle the next wave of enemies. Without much of a cooldown period or requiring a collectible resource to use them though, a lot of the more challenging waves can be cleared by simply spamming them as often as possible. Speaking of enemies, Tachyon Project features over 30 different enemy types with their own distinct patterns and combat styles. There's some pretty interesting ones as well, like bulls that'll rush you and smash into walls, others that spawn gravity-altering portals that change the trajectory of your bullets, and some that provide shields to others nearby. The vast variety of enemies and large-scale boss fights give the game a lot more depth than your standard twin-stick, and was the highlight of the game for me. As I mentioned earlier, the campaign is extremely short, clocking in at just under 2 hours for me. It's not all that difficult either, as even the most challenging waves or bosses were handled in a small handful of attempts. There's only one difficulty setting for the campaign, but there's 3 different challenge modes that offer endless waves of enemies for up to 4 players on your couch. There's no online support and everyone has to use the same loadout, but there's a lot of fun to be had with your friends if you're into that sort of thing. The game looks pretty good on the Xbox One, although it's not as bright or flashy as something like Geometry Wars 3. It's still visually pleasing with plenty of contrasting colors and a futuristic feel that, again, plays into the hacker storyline. I did notice a bit of lag when my well-placed proximity mines took out a screen full of baddies, but for the most part Tachyon Project runs just fine. It may be a tad too easy, and sure it's a little short, but with its variety in enemy and weapon types, fun, fast-paced gameplay, 3 couch co-op options, and some sort of story, no matter how small, Tachyon Project is a breath of fresh air in the twin-stick genre, and as of this review is easily my favorite shoot-'em-up on the Xbox One. We're giving Tachyon Project on the Xbox One an 8 out of 10.